Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are with much gratitude to warmly and cordially welcome our friends of the media, both in the print and electronic, for honoring our invitation to this press conference by the Musicians and Dancers Association of Ghana to state our position on the current trend the Ghana music industry is undergoing. We acknowledge also the presence of all stakeholders and players, as well as lovers and well-wishers of the music industry. We are gathered here today at this press conference to address certain pertinent issues which recently has been raising a number of concerns for both the stakeholders, players and lovers of the arts. To set the record straight, we members of the Musicians and Dancers Association of Ghana, MUDAG, want to tell the general public that whoever is the brainchild and cause of all the wranglings in the Ghanaian music industry today must be blamed, named and shamed after exposure. We are stating clearly today that a very important personality in the industry on record has wanted to manipulate the president of MUDAG a couple of years ago to fight Gambro, and also allegedly incited some board members to resign so he can have his way to the leadership position of the board. We are cautiously withholding his name for now, but will definitely release it in due course. What seems to be mamming the music industry today is what MUDAG would term as the survival of the fittest and the uprising of Undo's 2014. The new politicking era in the Ghana music industry where stakeholders, players, fan base, and the media fraternity are all converging at various points of calls based on their sympathy and interest of choice to plan and execute planned actions or strategies to implement those strategies, most of which unfortunately has nothing but sheer hatred undertones towards opposed or perceived distractors, competitors, and enemies as against what the former is opting for or intends doing, but sees the latter as a stumbling blocks, who at all costs and by all means foul or fair play and unlawful lawful must be made to exit the way to their cause. For some time now, ladies and gentlemen, Ghana Music Rights Organization, GAMRO, and its leadership has come under attack for various reasons, ranging from not complying with their constitutional mandate as per their stay in office, forming clear policies for electioneering timetable and procedures, not disseminating needed information as periodically expected to its members, and last but not the least, their inability to account for their stewardship since taking office 2 years and some months ago, especially in the area of finances, and as to exactly how much they have corrected so far as royalties are concerned for the right owners whose interests they are in office representing. The latest was an open letter to the GAMRO chairman, Mr. Carol Sechi, by President of the Musicians Union of Ghana, Musiga, Mr. Bice Osei-Kufuor, who doubles as the marketing and brands representative of the GAMRO board. Not only that, the Attorney General upon the concerns raised also added her voice, calling on Mr. Carol Sechi-led administration to submit his 2 years financial statements to the government, inasmuch as we are for good leadership in equity, probity and accountability, and therefore will not rubbish the genuine concerns being raised. For these and other reasons, some acclaimed, aggrieved and concerned members of the board have been using both the print and electronic media platform, calling for resignation and removal from office, or as an alternative, a major election to get new leaders in place of the current one chaired by Mr. Carol Sechi. Though GAMRO may have its shortcomings with the Carol Sechi-led administration, which is of course common in all human institutions, they must be encouraged to do better and at least compliment their effort of being able to disperse what they received. If it's anything to go by, we are currently asking how efficiently effective has the board-led administration of Musiga been in the past 3 years since elected into office, especially in the area of finances. Musiga should rather set its house in order in the wake of the numerous resignations hitting it, including the later resignation of the Western Regional Chairperson of Musiga, Reverend Letitia Redu, and the current dispute between the Ashanti Regional Chairman Nana Boaje da Costa and the members, before coming out to call and demand for responsibility and accountability. There are a lot of monies that the president of Musiga is supposed to account for, including the citizens' Kofi's money, 1.5 billion old Ghana cedis, the EcoBank money, 200 million old Ghana cedis, membership dues, welfare dues, 2 million cedis government allocation, that is 20 billion old cedis, visa monies, traveling monies, the skill development fund to establish Musiga Academy, that is 7.5 billion old cedis, among others, who nobody has taken him to court yet. Musiga, behind Nana Kwame Ampedu and 100 others, acclaimed right owners have summoned Gamro and its management to the law course just last week, but we dispassionately want to add that Gapi and Musiga, who seem to be spearheading this move, must also bear in mind that the very people, musicians, both popular and unpopular, for whom and on whose behalf they are raising red flags over the administration of the current Gamro board and its chairman, are the very same ones whose hard work and labor they robbed by indulging in the famous internet piracy activity with a Norwegian company without their consent. For only God knows how long and how much was really involved. Are they saying you should settle organizational issues in the law courts? We want to tell Obo that there are thousands of silent right owners out there who are supporting Karosechi and his administration, including some of Obo's present-day Musiga regional executives. We are sending this clear indication to all in the music industry that we have grown above the divide and rule face-saving tactics being used by Obo and his cronies. Therefore, it is high time they put a stop to it, because we don't want to see any skirmishes in the Ghana music industry. From the look of things, our research is detecting a thick, dark smoke rising as a result of mounting tensions from the factions involved, who seem to be at each other's throats, with one accusation and counter-accusations over. But careful observation has revealed foul play. Who is well connected to whom in high praises? Who are the untouchables? Who are to remain at post and who is to leave post? But most disturbingly, and also the most deadly and dangerous, if not checked, is who are the big boss players in the industry. The kind of mafia gangs that sparked off the East and West Coast bloody and deadly wars in the American music industry, which led to the untimely deaths of many promising music stars. Not only that, for anyone to have presumed it has no serious repercussion on the American economy and security in the States, where those wars were much concentrated, would have made a grave mistake. Anything of that nature occurring in our beloved nation will leave us with much to desire and bitter lesson to learn from. We have to do anything possible collectively, as we have the power and opportunity now in doing so before things get out of hand. Music was never intended to destroy, cause disunity, and scatter, but rather build, unify, and gather our collective giftings and talents through music and the arts for the total development, progress, and prosperity of all the players involved, as well as society and the entire world as a whole. Recently, we petitioned the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and the Creative Arts and copied the press to invite all the music associations in the country for a fact-finding meeting from those concerned by her outfit. It would have gone a long way to resolve most of the indifferences, which is slowly but surely gaining on present grounds, heightening tensions and causing bad blood among distribution functions, especially with the current and new development arising between Musiga, Gamro, and Gapi, with each one trying to undo the other to remain at post. But since the case is now before the law, we will not like to get to the nitty-gritty of it. Musiga has a lot of history to learn from. We want to remind Obo of the biblical record of a wicked servant who owed his master 10,000 cedis but could not pay the master, therefore pardoned and allowed him to go free. But as ungrateful as he was, then came out from the presence of the king, thinking it was all over, to proceed with his wickedness and unforgiving ways. Meets a fellow servant who owed him 100 cedis, caught him by the throat, demanding his money without even listening to the sincere plea of this fellow servant. But for the timely intervention of another servant who saw him and went to report his ungrateful behavior to the king, he would have even strangled this fellow to death for owing him only 100 cedis, whereas he owed 10,000 cedis, which he could not account for, let alone pay. Finally, in this life, if you deliberately but ignorantly shoot yourself in the foot, pretending you are rendering another person immobile, remember you will need that same foot to run when the time comes. Those who are bent on going on character assassination spree should pause, even if they won't stop to take a sober reflection on this Bible quote, that until one is able to remove the speck in his own eye, it will be difficult and even impossible to clearly see to remove the log in another man's eye. Thank you all.